Welcome to the nation. I am your host, your president, your tour guide, Mr. Monster Mirago. I'm the landlord, the owner, tenant, the janitor. I'm out the damn floor. With you. I ain't worried cause they ain't gonna bother me. Same old long gold chain from old A cause ain't nobody robbing me. Nah. So I seen this video where Dame Dash was talking to Ray Daniels. And they was having this conversation where when the clip starts, I seen it on Instagram, when the clip starts, Dame is talking about, well, they're talking about, what song was it? Was it a Joe Budden song that that Jay-Z basically jumped on? He was, he was on this Jacket for Beats flow, you know what I mean? If applicable. But he was like, the way Ray Daniels was framing it was like, like it was something fly, but the way, Dame was framing it was like it was something foul. They brought up how Jay jumped on the Joe Budden joint. Give me that beat full time. Hold on, what? I have it. In a second. It was that. It was the I'm a hustler, baby. That joint and all of that. Sorry. It was a couple of joints where he was basically the narrative that, or the point that Dame was trying to make was that Jay is foul for that. Here it is.
Jay had a strategy of once somebody's record was hot, jumping on it and then taking, it would be like it was his record.
Like he did Joe Budden. Like he did Joe Budden. Give me the beat. Like he ain't do a remix, he took it.
And that's up.
Give me that beat, fool, with some full-time jack move. Don't worry, Shady, I get back soon.
Like Ja Rule's record, Can I Get a
what? Do these chickens from all of my dogs who don't love those. They get no dough.
Can I get a?
That was Ja Rule's record.
Okay, that was Ja Rule's record. Yeah, so y'all see where he going with this? Saying like, basically like, one more.
I'm a hustler, baby. I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know.
Let you know.
It ain't what happened. That was Sparks' record.
That's why he's on there like, give me that now.
Give me that funk, that sweet, that nasty, that gushy stuff. That's the only reason why Sparks was on there, because it was his record. So he does this thing where he says, oh, it's your record, I jump on it, now it's my record. It's almost like extortion.
Now, I don't know how that's like extortion. Do I need to? I swore I knew what extortion meant. I'm not making that connection, but I'm not here to I'm not here to dump on Dame. Hold on, all right. Extortion is the illegal act of obtaining money, property, or services through coercion, intimidation, or misuse of authority, often referred to as blackmail. It involves threats of violence, reputational harm, or false accusations to force compliance, unlike robbery, which uses immediate force. Extortion involves threats to compel a victim's consent. Where's the threat? I mean, I see where this can loosely be referred to as, because you say coercion or intimidation, because it could be implied that if you don't let me, have this record, and like if you're talking about Sparks or whatever, you don't let me have this record, I'm not putting out your record or whatever, but I guess. So anyway, so yeah, that was that I found that very interesting, right? Because I never thought that was foul, right? I always looked at that like an alley-oop. You know what I mean? I always felt like, I mean, the game has showed us, the game has narrated to us, at the very least, that to the smaller artists, you are being done a favor. You know what I mean? Now, whether we believe it or not, that's up to us. I always agree with it, because like, you have the ghost producer, like, like back in the days, they said that Dre, all of the songs on those dope Dre albums, like so much of those albums were actually produced by Daz, right? And Daz didn't get no credit for it, right? But then there was like Scott Storch was the ghost producer behind the room. But the way it was taught to me was, as an unknown, like if you were Scott Storch, even if you were Daz, because remember, there was a time, NWA came out way before the Dog Pound and Snoop Dogg and all of that. So if you, that nigga Daz or Daz Dillinger, your name can't get you this much money for your beat. The record label, who you, even though you might be signed to the label, like I might be on this label, I still gotta negotiate. It's still negotiation going on. If a producer comes to me and he wants, a producer sells, if he's trying to sell me a beat and it's like $10,000, the label's going to be like, for who? If they don't know him, they not going, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to recognize that number. And you might lose the beat altogether if they feel disrespected. Or they're going to take the number all the way down. If nobody ever heard your name, $500. $1,000. That's your friend. He should give you that beat for free. The labels would they would do that, right? So by me saying, by Dre saying, all right, I'm gonna say this is my beat, and we get to charge this much money for it. The percentage, the portion that I give you is gonna be way more than what you could have gotten on your own with your own name. And I always saw that hustle. I didn't really see nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? But also while we talking about Death Row, like all of the the legends, all of the artists from Death Row always talk about how when Pac came home, when Pac got out of jail, they all gave up, like whatever, like this. It's a different kind of heat on Pac right now. We need to execute on this right now. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know what the conversations were like, but the understanding that they conveyed to me is, this nigga got a different kind of heat. We more than just a label. We are a family. Everybody, what you got? And Daz gave up ambitions as a writer. This song, that song. It was like, listen, take it, go. You know what I mean? It was, it was for the good of the whole. Now, granted, 25, 30 years later, a lot of people are arguing, you got a lot of people from these situations who are now, and maybe from that situation specifically, the Death Row situation, because you hear Daz often talking about getting his own money and how things wasn't all the way kosher. You know what I mean? So at the in hindsight, it seems like, oh man, it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It was, niggas want their money later on in the game. Like, hold on, whoa, that wasn't right. I want my credit. Maybe not their money. They want their credit or money or both. But in that moment, it didn't, I never looked at it as a bad thing. You know what I mean? When I used to do the podcast, the Monster Mondays podcast with Strang Wonder, salute to him, and my brother DJ Rec, Strang will often pose this question when we would be talking about record labels jerking niggas, right? Or more specifically, record labels like record labels that are run by artists, like a Rockefeller, something like that, where, since that's the sparking point of this vlog, like you got jerked, and then you get up there, you become successful and all of that, you get a label, and then you jerk your homeboys. Come on, B. That was strange. He could not figure out how, he could not fathom how that, you know what I mean? But what I'm thinking in this moment, I probably thought this before, and I've said this much before. The contract, if you Google recording contract right now, without being too specific and all of that, the first 10 contracts that pop up are probably going to be snaky. So it seems like it's a standard. And if said artist, like if it's Jay-Z or whoever, Fat Joe or whoever, it's like, I blew up off of this system. This is the way it goes. I was able to, what I'm saying? Yeah, it was hard. It was a lot of hard work, but this is the way it goes and it feels normal. You know what I'm saying? But then some people say it ain't. You know what I mean? But the way I look, like I said, the way it was when the shoe was on my foot, and because I've even done this before. Like when I was working on my original, my first album, Planet Rock, I had a beat or maybe two from dudes that was my homeboys. The world didn't know them yet. You know what I mean? I told Priority or Geffen, whichever deal I was on at the time, I was like, I made that beat. And he co-produced it with me. And you know who I am, like the level, you know, my name carried a price tag. Even though it wasn't already set. I wasn't known as a producer. I was still rocking this monster. So we taking 5 racks for this beat right here. And I would give him half. You know what I'm saying? To any of my homeboys, if you felt some type of way about that back then, I apologize. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't have no malicious intent. I just wanted to get you, you know, 2,500 as opposed to 1,000 or 500. What the label was going to, the labels is this. This whole game is their game. You gotta understand. Like I almost understand why they don't treat us fair. Like I actually do understand. I'm not condoning it because you could still do us better than what you've been doing us. Right, but listen, if you're creative, you like to rap, then rap. You want to be on TV every day, the TV is ours. The networks are ours. Like, we own all of this. You understand what I'm saying? This system ain't set up for y'all to get free. What do you think this is? You pay for everything. You pay for everything in this capitalist society. Why would you think you wouldn't have to pay to be on the radio? Why would you think you wouldn't have to pay to be on, you know, or on the video shows, on the television airwaves and all of that? It's their stuff. Until we create our own stuff, then we're gonna always have to fight against them for some resemblance of fair treatment. Cause it ain't theirs, B. When Master P came out and he was doing his own thing, Master P had a legendary deal with Priority Records. He got to treat the record label the way the record label usually treat us, and it was because he didn't need them. He had already created his own wave so strong that he had like an 85-15 split with Priority Records. It's like, you want to get down, you take these crumbs. These crumbs gonna add up though, cause I'm that thing. I'm that deal. You know what I'm saying? So what do y'all think? Y'all think so to spin it all back, do y'all think Jay-Z is foul? Do y'all think that process is foul? You know, Jay-Z see Joe Budden, your record is popping. I jump on your record. Now your record is gonna pop more. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? People hear the Jay-Z version, people get to talking about the original, it was better than it, you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. And you know what I mean? That whole, because credit is, everybody deserves their credit, but to want your credit, is that tied to the ego? And I'm not saying the ego is bad. I believe that without the ego, we wouldn't even have hip hop. So I'm just saying, just food for thought. What y'all think? Made it to the end of this video. Let me get 4 microphones. Rock on. Spell all the things correctly. Monster, not monster. It's an A, no ER. Helter Skelters, A's and H's, no E's and R's. ROCK in this BCC, not BBC. Pause protesters, get your ass out of here. Why do you hate fun so much? It's a game we play. It's not a phobia. It's a game. It's a fun. It's a fun beer. Rock on.
Let's go. I'm one of the realest you ever gonna see. I ain't come here to lie to you. Niggas done with a lie to you. I get Beanie Siegel's first album, or Paul Pierce even, they are the truth. I'm sick and tired of you, you comical when I'm not in the mood for jokes. You are not a goon, not a shooter or a rider. You shoot off your mouth and you be riding dudes, cock for loot, dude, that's a prostitute.